we got a homemade tomato soup recipe that I know that you added your own touches to it, so we just call it your recipe.
Okay, that sounds good.
And it's always awesome.
Okay. Well, and you know, tomatoes. I mean, this time of the year, you get your own fresh garden tomatoes. There's nothing like it. We're gonna start out with 2 quarts of tomatoes.
Okay.
Now, what you're gonna do first is you want to peel or put your tomatoes in boiling water, and so that the skin comes off. Okay. And then I always take the core off and top, and then I just cut them into pieces. You know, when you have ripe garden tomatoes, it just cuts up so nice. And what's nice with your own home garden tomatoes, they cook up nice. You don't have the hard lumps like you have when you open up a can of tomatoes.
Okay.
There is such a difference. So, and this will make a good sized, recipe here.
Yeah. And I mean, soup, I mean, you can make as big of a kettle as you want. You can freeze it.
And one thing, with soup, you don't have to be precise.
Oh, no.
No, you don't ever have to be precise. So, so we start out with 2 quarts of tomatoes.
Okay.
Now we're going to make 4 cups of chicken broth. I just boiled some water here. And to make 4 cups of chicken broth, I always use my own chicken base. It's a teaspoon of broth, or the base, to 1 cup of water.
Okay.
So I'm going to put 4 teaspoons in there.
And you said you heated the water up first, and is that key into making the base itself, or just kind of aids in the...
It'll go a little faster, but one thing, this dissolves really, the chicken base will dissolve better.
Okay.
And stuff, so. And not that it wouldn't have dissolved when this got to, to be boiling or whatever, so we're going to add that.
So, I mean, you can take and make your own broth, or you can buy broth, whatever is most convenient for you.
But, you buy a can, and it's like $1.29, so what are you paying for the can and the water? So you just make your own.
Making your own obviously is a lot more economical. Sometimes the ease of just pouring in a can. Not that that was hard.
No, that wasn't hard, was it? Okay, now we're going to add a couple of tablespoons of sugar. And what this will do, it kind of helps with the acid of the tomatoes.
Oh, okay.
So we're going to just add a couple of tablespoons of sugar.
Okay.
There we go. And also a little bit of baking soda.
Okay.
And that also helps with your acid in your tomatoes. So we don't want a lot. I'm just going to probably about a half a teaspoon here and stuff. So, and like dill, and dill is optional, okay. But I had some dill in my garden, so I just chopped up a little bit of dill, and I use the leaves, the flowery leaves versus, the seeds and that.
Okay.
But, I'm sure you can use some dill seed or whatever just to get that extra flavoring in there. So we're going to take that over there and start to get that to boil. Because it says it should simmer about an hour.
Okay.
You can give or take. So while that's simmering, I'm actually going to... we're going to put onions and celery in there too, but I want to saute our onions and celery. And that, so we're going to add a little bit of butter. Got to make sure I put the right burner on. I don't think I did. So we don't want to start with the wrong burner there. So I'm going to add a couple of tablespoons of butter to this pan here. And because I do have, a pretty big kettle there, I'm just going to add about 3 tablespoons.
Okay.
And I chopped up some celery and onions. And I took 1 onion and about 5 stalks of celery and just chopped them. I didn't really measure, so you probably might have about a cup of each, or maybe a little bit more.
Okay.
On that. I mean, I like the idea of the celery and onions in there, so, but we want to just saute them a little bit so that they just give it a little bit better flavor too when you put that in the soup. So while that's going to start to boil there, it will take a little bit. We'll have our onions sauteed and that. So while that's actually going, we're going to make a dessert.
Okay.
A moon pie.
All right.
Or a moon cake, whatever you want to call it. Some call it a moon cake, some call it a moon pie, but we put it in a jelly roll pan.
Okay.
And stuff. And you actually start with your base is going to be, your crust is cream puff dough.
Yep, so it's a very light dessert.
It's a very light dessert, yes. So I want to get this going here. And while that's doing that, just to save time, we're going to start with, doing the cream puffs.
Okay.
Crust. Okay. We need to, we're going to put this in the kettle here. We're going to add a cup of water.
Okay. And sometimes after you have a hearty bowl of soup, it's nice just to have a light dessert to finish that off.
And this is a light dessert. So there was a cup of water, and now we're going to do a stick of butter.
Okay. Well, maybe I'll take back my light part if there's a stick of butter in there.
But it's a big pan, so
okay.
you know that butter's going to go a long ways. Okay. And we just want to bring that to a boil.
Okay.
And we'll bring that over here, and we'll just put it on the back burner here where I was going to put it on and get that to boiling. And just stir this a little bit. And we had featured cream puffs on our show one time, to what different things you could do with cream puffs.
Right.
But this one here, I see this moon cake taken a lot at, potlucks.
Yes.
Or whatever, and that's just where I, got the recipe, from one of the gals that makes it there. In fact, it's in our St. Wenceslaus cookbook.
Okay.
And it's just, it's easy, it's good. You're going to use pudding on it and a little bit of Cool Whip, and it's just a great dessert to take.
Well, and it's easy.
And it isn't difficult at all. Absolutely not. And one thing you can always do, you can make your crust, the day before if you don't, you're going to maybe don't have as much time as you'd like the day of. And you're going to make that so, this way your crust is already cool and ready to go to put your filling on it.
Yep.
So, and that. And I've got the oven heated to 350, for our to bake our crust.
Okay.
And it only takes about 15 minutes, I believe, to bake that crust.
So it's not a huge, I mean, if you make it the day before, you're going to save some time, but it's not going to take a huge amount of time if you just wait and make it the day that you need it to.
That's right, yes. Absolutely. And then the added touch to this soup here, when you've had it simmering, for an hour or so, is putting in some real cream. That's going to make it really good. And the original recipe that I had, it had said 2 cups of cream, and I usually, because I use the heavy whipping cream, I don't usually use quite 2 cups of cream. If you're using, just your regular cream, not the heavy,
right?
It's a lot thinner than this, and I guess you can just add to your taste. If you like more cream, add the full 2 cups. And we didn't even add salt to this because we talked about our chicken base. That has plenty of salt.
It definitely does.
I've not added salt to this soup when I've made it. When you serve it, if somebody likes a little bit more, add it, but don't put thinking, oh, we need salt. Your base has quite a bit of salt.
Okay.
So, you don't want to overdo that. Okay, I think we can turn this off for our celery and onions. It's just sauteed and they're just turning just a little bit color there, brown a little bit. So we're just going to add that in there. And so it all can simmer together. You can go do whatever you want because this is going to take care of itself.
Yep, just cook up, and again, about an hour is all it's going to take on the stove.
That's right. And our butter and water has boiled, so we're going to bring that over here. And what we're going to do is add a cup of flour. And then we just stir that really good until till your flour pulls away from the side of the pan.
Okay.
And then we're going to want to let it just cool just a little bit. And then we're going to put 4 eggs in it.
Okay.
And then it's going to be ready to just look at, you know, you put that in and that already just pulls away from the sides and just good. And with the butter and the water like that, that flour doesn't get lumpy.
It doesn't. It just, it looks very smooth and very workable.
Yes, so, okay. We'll give that just a couple of moments. And then actually what we're going to do now, let's start making our filling.
Okay.
So that gets set up. We're going to need 4 cups of milk. So we're going to want to get the milk out of the fridge.
All right.
And I think there is another carton there on the other side of the door there. So it asks for 2 packages of instant vanilla pudding.
Okay.
And so you're just going to mix it as the pudding directions are there. So we have that there. And then we're also going to use a package of cream cheese. We're going to beat the cream cheese.
All right.
So I think I need to change covers. And we'll set that back in the fridge.
All right.
And I'll just stir this a little bit more so it'll help cool it a little faster. And what I will do is I will give this to you and we will just mix up that instant pudding. And then the cream cheese I took out of the fridge just to let it kind of, you know, soften a little bit.
Okay.
Because it'll beat easier. Okay, so I will just let you wire whisk that.
Alrighty. And you said we use vanilla. Is there any reason that you would maybe try different flavors of pudding?
You can try any flavor that you like. I mean, the recipe says vanilla, but butterscotch would be great. Chocolate would be wonderful, you know, too, and stuff. So you
think
just
even like bananas, and you can possibly even do, you know, bananas on top.
Absolutely. Making something a little different there. Okay, just touching this dough here. That's getting pretty easy to touch, so it won't take much here, and then we can start adding the eggs. And we add 4 eggs, but you're going to add 1 egg at a time.
Okay.
You put 1 egg in and mix it, and then you put the next egg in, and that's the way you do for cream puffs. So I'm going to just add that in there and mix it up.
Okay.
And you can break the next one.
There's always a trick not to getting the shells in there, though.
That's right. And you know, actually, if you crack an egg on the side of your pan versus, you know, like a kettle like this versus the counter, you don't get as many little pieces. You know,
there's a
too.
tip.
That's right. But I was gonna say with making tomato soup when we went down to South Dakota over the weekend, this person told me how and gave me a recipe for gold soup. You know, South Dakota is known for their gold, so it says you want to make gold soup. It's so easy. You use 24 carrots and bouillon. There you are. You got your gold soup. Kind of cheesy, but it was funny. So now we're going to just spread that in our pan here. And I believe I said before that I had the oven on to 350. Actually, this does bake at 400 degrees.
Okay.
So we just get that cleaned out there. And did I mention how long we baked this before? I was thinking
about 14 minutes, I think. Is
14 minutes, yeah. And I think I was wrong again a little bit. I think
you're just pulling recipes, you know, from way back in the recesses of your mind and just adding whatever.
I think so. That's right. We're going to put it on at 20 minutes.
Okay.
And that. But okay. Well, that's my oven just telling me it is 400 degrees already. So
okay.
We'll put that in the oven there. And just put the timer on there. All right. Now, well, look at our vanilla pudding has just already set up there. So we just want to beat our cream cheese a little bit just to soften that. Okay. And then, so we add it in with the vanilla pudding. And we'll just have that all ready to go. And like I said, I did take that cream cheese out a little bit earlier so it would have a chance to soften and makes it easier just to whip. So we'll just whip that a little bit and then we'll slowly add our vanilla pudding to it.
Okay.
And then we can set that in the fridge while we're, you know, that's baking. And we thought with our tomato soup, you know, you could have a sandwich, you could do whatever. But we just thought fry bread would sound pretty good.
Well, fried bread anytime is good.
Yeah, that's right.
You don't need a reason for fried bread.
Yeah. Okay. So I've got that whipped, so I'm going to just slowly add my pudding to that. I'm going to turn that off and just lift that up so I can get that in there a little bit easier. We'll set that in the fridge. And now what I'm going to do, we're going to go over to the stove and we're going to make our fry bread.
Okay.
So I have just a kettle here. I'm going to get the burner on. And I've got some olive oil that I used the last time I made fry bread.
Okay.
And you know, you certainly can use your oils over a few times. But when I do, I always put it in a jar and I store it in the refrigerator.
Okay.
And then it doesn't get that old taste to it. So we're gonna just get that there, get that heated. And the easiest way to make fry bread is I had some just frozen dinner rolls.
Oh, yes.
Then you can take individual pieces, you got the right size, and you're ready to go. And so I'm going to just put this on here. You know, I did mix up some cinnamon and sugar, and we're going to be able to put that in there right away and put that on. But I won't do all of them because we like it also with honey.
Yes.
You know, just honey and not a cinnamon and sugar, and so it's really, really good. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to just get a fork over here to turn that and a plate to put it on, because when I do take it out, I like to first put it on just a paper towel to, you know, to absorb a little bit of the grease and stuff. So, and that won't take too long for that to get hot. So you just need enough oil that you're going to be able to you know, put it in and turn it, and it's not going to touch the bottom of your pan.
Okay.
And that's so. And actually, I'm going to just grease my hand just a little bit with this here so that when I take these, they don't, you know, stick to my hand. But just pull it apart there, and you can just see you'll just have the perfect serving size with that.
Well, and how easy, because you can take as many buns out as you need versus, I mean, it certainly works if you would take a loaf of frozen bread dough out and cut it.
Yes, absolutely. And, you know, different toppings. Wouldn't choke cherry jelly or syrup be good
definitely.
on that too? You know, a lot of people still like, they'll pick choke cherries and make their jelly and syrup. You know, we did that a lot at home. Once in a while, you know, we always had jelly, but it didn't turn quite right. Then we had the syrup.
Okay.
And that was good. And it was okay because it's great on pancakes or even ice cream.
Yeah.
You know, we have this area, I think we're going to find that you have a lot of people that just still like that choke cherry syrup. Oh, that looks like that's nice and hot, that oil there. We can put 2 of them in there at a time. But as soon as you put it in, you can just see how it rises already and stuff. So you'll have a nice light little fry bread there.
Well, and for tacos, I mean, these are awesome, you know, if you want to have something different than traditional flour tortillas or something. I mean, there's so many things you can do with fry bread, so.
Absolutely. We're going to just turn that around there. And I'm going to turn that burner down just a little bit. And stuff, so there we go. And like I said, just look at how quickly that goes. You know, a lot of people call it fry bread. I'm still used to calling it farmer hats.
Yes.
And that, so we'll put the next 2 in
or
there.
Or snowflakes.
Snowflakes, yes. I want to just make that one a little longer, then it'll give that a little more room in our kettle here. So I wonder, you know, if this is more of a tradition for North Dakota or our area versus, you know, other parts of the country.
I think it is.
And that,
because
because
not too many people that I don't think wouldn't like this, though.
yeah, that's right. It's just like a donut.
Yeah.
You know, pretty much so, or whatever. But, you know, our part of the country, we have a lot of the Germans from Russia, and I think that even, you know, the Czechs and the Bohemians do a lot of this dough here too, like that. So, so see how quickly that goes there. On that, and we'll be done, and our soup will be done shortly, and we'll get out our moon cake.
All right.
See? You know, that moon cake pretty much goes in with the tomato soup, you know, the harvest moon and all that.
That's right.
See? We're going to just make a couple of them here with the cinnamon sugar in there. And, you know, we really like the flavor of cinnamon, so I add the cinnamon, but then again, you don't need to add cinnamon in there if you don't want to.
Well, this is just like your little old homemade donut.
That's right, yeah. And then I'm going to leave a couple of them without anything on, just because, you know, we like that with honey also.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll make one more with that on there.
Okay.
All right, we have that done there, so we'll set that over here, and it won't be too much longer yet, and we'll have our crust for the moon cake will be done. Oh,
looks like a moon.
It does. It looks really good. And that, so we're going to just leave it here and have it cool a little bit here before we put our filling on. And by then our soup will be ready to go and we can feature all of our goodies tonight.
Sounds great.
So we're going to put our filling on there now. And we'll just put that on there, spread that around. And that cream cheese in there is what's going to help hold that pudding together too.
Sure.
That it doesn't get, you know, runny. Because you can actually keep this dessert for, you know, a couple of days and it'll be, if it lasts.
Right.
Okay, so let's just kind of spread that around here. And then we're going to actually put Cool Whip.
Okay.
We're going to put a carton of Cool Whip on that. And then just to make that just a little bit more appetizing or appealing, if we can.
If you have to add to
Yeah,
it.
if you, yeah, right. If we have to even dress that up a little bit, we're going to just drizzle a little bit of a chocolate and butterscotch on it.
Okay.
There you go. So you can just, let's see, I got to make sure that I got the, oh, I do have that off. Just lightly there, just to make it pretty. And that, and whoop, oh, that one come out there. And you can certainly drizzle on as much as you like or whatever. I've got butterscotch here and chocolate. I think caramel would be great on it.
Strawberry.
Any of that, absolutely. And now we can just drizzle some rocks on there.
Yes.
You know, just a few little walnuts on here. And that's so.
Looks great.
Okay. And that's optional, you know, you don't need to, if you have a family doesn't like nuts or is a little allergic to it, or put it on half and not the other half.
Right.
So that's just looking really good. And we're going to just come over here and finish up our soup. It looks like that has really cooked well. I'm going to go ahead and add my cream to this. Just in there and stir that up, and
We are ready to go.
Ready to go, absolutely here. Let's bring our bowl over here and our soup ladle. And as we're taking this out, you can kind of see that there's some little chunks of tomatoes, but it's, you know, they're not big chunks. Okay, so we're going to come over here. So, I think that would be a pretty satisfying meal to sit down to, is a bowl of tomato soup and some farmer hats and then some dessert.
That's right. Not that you want winter to come, but this is definitely a comfort winter meal.
Absolutely.
It is.
Very much so.
To get these recipes, just go to Consolidated's website, www.ctctel.com. Please submit your recipes for us to cook for you. And as always, thank you to the Workshop for being our sponsor. Have a great day.